Hey everyone, welcome to the Electric Supercar channel. So last week we got the doors kind of mounted. This week I found a couple issues we need to sort out, but then the things I want to accomplish, I want to get the mirrors mounted. And also, if we have time, the windshield. Let's get to it. One of the things I'm noticing about the doors is the gas spring that kind of pushes it open, holds it open. So again, if I've got this all the way open, if I let go, it falls. So I think what it is, the early version where I tested this, it was without the door panel, the interior door panel. So it's got a speaker and some other things that, again, all the weight is off, right? So I mean, I can push this up or down with one finger, right? You can even kind of like guide it there. So all the weight's off, but again, I think I'd like it to, just go all the way up and stay up. So I'll probably be looking for some different gas springs. Okay, one of the viewers talked about handle location, being able to kind of open and close. So the previous location was about here, so I've moved it back a little bit. I think it's fine to kind of pull it down. I do feel like, I don't know how this works in general, but I feel like when you get to this point, kind of pulling it down here is not as ideal as just kind of reaching on top and just kind of, putting your arm on top and just kind of closing it. One other thing I failed to check is this latch. So I can hear it back here, but I don't know if something's slipped, but it's not unlatching. This door, it works okay, so we can do that as long as we're talking about things that need fixing. This one, the latch is such that any little bump and it kind of just wants to fall open. So I need to kind of look at some ways to improve that as well. It seems like to begin with, we're just going to talk about all the things that aren't working. The other thing is right now the car will not power on. What it is the 12-volt battery gets drained by my passive keyless entry system. It shouldn't, I don't think, but again, if I leave it for a week or more without driving, it kind of is a low enough voltage that it won't turn on the car. So I got to get in there, look at the passive keyless entry. I'm also going to add, I'll just call it a charge cable. Essentially, to jump start this, you just need a 12-volt battery and kind of the right connection. So I just need to get that connection and then just a 12-volt battery because once the car turns on, it's the high voltage system that goes through the DC to DC converter and runs everything. So that's all we need to do to kind of, jump start it. And so we'll do that real quick. All right, got into my access panel here. It's not too difficult. So maybe 20 minutes or so. I have to kind of loosen this access panel just to kind of get it up just a titch and loosen this one right up here on the dash just so it can flex a little more, and then undo all the bolts that are holding this together and it comes off. So now I'm going to look in here, disconnect my passive keyless entry and do a 12-volt, I'll call it a jumper cable. So if it ever does run out of juice, again, all I need to do is get with any 12-volt system, so another car or something else, and then I'm back driving again. I am going to try out my jumper cables. That's what I'm calling them here. My car's already switched on. I'm just going to try to see if this would give it enough juice. I'm thinking, again, if I'm thinking right, all it has to do is flip the relay or the contactors. Well, there's a couple things. Got to flip a relay and then some contactors, and then the DC to DC converter should kick on to power everything else. So this will be like another car is coming up and we need to just jump it. You've probably heard that, but it's on. You can hear pumps going, stereo's going, everything's going. So I think that's all we'll need. I'll kind of tuck these out of the way, but make them so they're accessible if I ever need to get jumped. My thought is I'll probably just carry like a little 12-volt battery with me, maybe keep it in the glove box or something. That's all I think I'll need. Here we are with the glove box. I got this thing just from the hardware store. It cost $1.07. And this one, see, it'll probably come out like this, but it's got a little kind of roller and various pivots. So the thought is that this can get mounted here, this one will get mounted up top, and this will allow it to swing and stop at a lower travel. So that's what we're gonna do. So this one limits the travel down. I do feel like I need one on the other side just because when this one goes down, this side's still kind of a little loose. So I might just pick up another one. Okay, so I've been working on the glove box a little bit, trying to finish it up. Let's see. So I put these guys in here. These are my jumper wires, and I've got some batteries that are on their way, just little 12-volt batteries. I'll keep them in the glove box as well. And that's kind of, I think that'll be it. So I can kind of put this access panel back on. Glove box is working well, and we'll move on to something else. Leftover from last week, we still needed to touch up a few things with the vinyl. So where the vinyl wasn't there, add some seam material. Beyond that, I did find a couple issues. So one issue is on the passenger door, the interior handle there, that opens the lock. It wasn't opening the lock. So I took this back off. We'll dig into that. Hopefully it's a quick fix. Okay, so I've got the panel off here, and for the lock, it was pretty simple. Basically, I did this lock a long time ago. If you haven't noticed by now, the theme of the kit is things don't quite work as designed. So this one I actually ended up making a bike cable to kind of have this work a little better, because it just, the arc and everything was just so stiff that you couldn't even like do this lever. It wouldn't do anything at all. So I had to redo it, and in redoing it, there's a little piece in here that like could kind of come up. So I'm putting a piece here just to kind of keep it down, and that's all it'll be. After that, while this is out and kind of more accessible, I'll probably finish up some of the detail work and then go on to the other door. Okay, here's the panel all put back together. You'll see you got some of the seam material. You'll see I wrapped in there. Again, more seam material. And that handle works for unlatching. So again, this one's done. We'll go on to the next door. Okay, so we wrapped in that cubby there, put the seam material on there and there. Also did some grinding just right here to kind of relieve it when the door closes. Now that we have this sorted out, we're gonna switch directions to right here. So this is where the mirror's supposed to attach. My guess is if it is like the mirror itself, the brackets did not fit. We'll have to widen these slots. It may mean that it'll chip out and we'll have to kind of repair it. The other thing is the slots, I think, were just meant to kind of glue in the brackets. I'm really preferring fasteners, so I'll see if I can make this work with fasteners. Okay, as I suspected, these don't really fit in there. It can go in like just that much. So I'll have to kind of widen these as I've done before, and then I'll have to see if they're in the right position. If these brackets will kind of hold the mirror if these slots are in that location. Okay, this is what it looks like. Not completely awful. So I did have to kind of, again, route these out. There's just a few tiny chips here that I'm going to patch up. And then I also just kind of smooth the edges of this aluminum. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like it's maybe, I don't know, either water jet or laser cut. And so it just had a little burr to kind of get in there. So I got those in. This is okay. The top one looks kind of like I like, where it's kind of just almost goes flush then out. This bottom one's got a little bit of a lip here, so I might want to just kind of adjust this ever so slightly just so it doesn't have that abrupt edge. The other thing I might do is I might re-hydro dip this. It worked out pretty well, but I think when I spraying on the clear coat, I've got just kind of a couple bubbles. Maybe I could just kind of sand and buff those out so it looks good, but if not, I do have some more of the film and the activator, so I can do that again too. What I really want to do though is now I want to kind of see about doing some fasteners. So here's the challenging part, is I could try and just do the adhesive, but I want to get this on and off. So if I want to do fasteners, I got to go through this, and this is kind of they'll be hollow in between here. So I'll have to decide how best to do that. Okay, new plan. I think maybe coming in from this side. Again, it would be in here, and I would have to kind of drill and tap these pieces. Again, I'm not looking for a ton of strength because I think I'll still do the adhesive route, but I don't know. My thought is just relying on adhesive. If you're going fast, I can imagine the wind just whoosh, taking it, and there goes your mirror. So yeah, we'll try something. Okay, I got holes drilled and tapped in these. I got some screws here. I'll probably, these are kind of like some flat heads. I'll probably get like some socket heads that are a little smaller in diameter and kind of countersink them in there so you can't see them. But essentially it does the job where, you know, these aren't going anywhere. They're not going to come out. And again, I'll probably still add some adhesive in there, and then we'll do the same thing for the mirror. So we'll kind of drill and tap holes here and do adhesive there as well. Okay, I've got this these fasteners in, and they're holding these guys in, so I'm quite liking that. And then I've got the other fasten points where it'll go into the door itself. So I think this is looking pretty good. I'll do the other side, and then I think it's on to getting the mirrors in. Okay, this is the passenger side door that I did first, and I'm looking at this bottom one, and it's got a slot the full length. Top's got a slot that's full length. On the driver door, let me show you that. So we're like not even close. So I was just kind of widening the slot this direction because it's too narrow. And it looks like I'm gonna have to kind of have it go deeper this way as well. So we'll get to it. All right, so I routed these out. I think this is gonna be close enough. The adhesive, I'm sure will have like a little, I'll call it meniscus, a little flow between the two. So I think that'll cover up just any little tiny gaps, because there's a little gap right there as well. So, but I think that's probably good enough. I'll go ahead and start drilling holes to mount these to the door. Okay, I got all the holes drilled and tapped. Everything's good and ready to fit. I just am missing a whole bunch of fasteners. So I'll have to go to the store and get some fasteners, and then get these fastened to the door itself. Maybe before I do that, I'll put the mirrors on. Actually, before I do that, I want to paint this so it's not white underneath. So I'm going to mask things off, paint it, and then look at putting the mirror on. Okay, and just like that, we got the insides painted and kind of the rim around the outside here. So now I think it's time to put on the mirrors. I do have this hardware, but it is too long. So meaning when this is in here, and if I kind of go all the way, it's about as far as it goes. So there's a cup that sits here, but essentially that means your mirror would be like sitting off that far. So I need to cut down the bolts and kind of measure, see how far I want those to be in. Got the cup and the mirror. I'll probably just put some of the adhesive on the mirror and let that set up, pop it on here. Okay, so on my mirrors, the dipping that I did, I didn't do the best. There's kind of just a couple spots that smeared, and on the other mirror I actually had quite a few bubbles that I want to say was from the clear coat, but I tried to kind of sand them out. So again, if I get this wet, it looks pretty decent, but again, there's just a few areas that to me, aren't good enough. I don't know, is my OCD showing? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some primer back on these and dip them again. I decided to do both mirrors. Really, only one mirror was kind of bad, but I felt like I needed to do both mirrors to kind of keep things even. I put the primer on, did a guide coat, kind of sanded, make sure that everything still looked good, and then I did a base of this kind of metallic cover. I'll let this set up, and then I'll get ready to dip. Okay, so this one is off, and I've rinsed it once. There's kind of like a slippery substance, and I think this was what happened, I'll call it the time I did my hydro dipping 2 or 3 weeks ago. And what happens is there's just these little bubbles. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, so I think there's these little bubbles, and I think what it is when I rinse it off, if you don't kind of rinse it off right, it will essentially kind of just leave a little bubble. And then when you go to put a clear coat on or other things, that becomes the problem. So I'm gonna rinse this again, and I think that'll do it. I put some packaging tape on some of this vinyl to kind of try and protect it while I've been taking things on and off. And it's interesting, so the packaging tape is leaving just like this tremendous goo. And so I just think there's some interaction between whatever's on here and the tape. The tape wouldn't leave this on anything. So I'll take that off, clean it up. What I'm trying to do is get seats back in, get the carpets back in, put the doors on, and then put the mirrors on. Okay, we are losing the light, but they look really good. So here's the little thing I didn't tell you. Didn't quite have time to put those in yet, so something to look for next week. We probably could have got farther if we didn't redip the parts, but I felt like it was kind of needed. They look really good. So next week we'll put the mirrors on and go for windshield, and then I think it's ready to register. All right, that's all the time we have for this week. See you next week.